I wonder what you think of President Tinubu traveling to the state on Wednesday.
What has been going on in Benue, Plateau, and so on in some other places is actually a collective assault. It's an assault on our collective psyche as Nigerians and as human beings even. So talking about that, the president went there, which is good. But I think he could have gone there much earlier. But anyway, he went there. But I don't think that we had a very the decisions and declarations that were made may not have been as forceful as some would have wanted. For example, the way some of us look at this what has been going on, it's not an issue of reconciliation. It's an issue of pure criminality that is almost at a genocidal level. So it's when people talk about, oh, settle it, there could be minor elements of that, but you can't equate killing a cow with slaughtering hundreds of human beings. I think that's the point the Tortive kept making. There's one picture that is very poignant. I don't know if you have seen it. The picture of the lady who was in the hospital with her child, whose arm had been severed, and who looked away, in protest about the actions of government.
Right. So your sense is that the frequency of these attacks is up without a commensurate response by the government.
Yeah, I think the government is actually without a solution, as it is now. And I'm not talking of this government alone. The Nigerian state appears unprepared for the sort of violence that people are unleashing on fellow Nigerians. And you just said the Chief of Defense Staff tell you that he thinks that there are foreign elements coming in. And these are not just criminals like that. These are mercenaries. These are actually commando units of foreign armies trained elsewhere and so on, well-equipped, well-armed, well-prepared tactically. Sometimes even more so than our. And our system is completely unprepared for that. We should have a national policy banning open grazing, but doing so in such a manner that we will engage the herders and then build these ranches for them. Then we stop it.
Well,
you have to provide the ranches.
Right.
Otherwise,
but isn't that a law that the National Assembly can make?
Well, unless you couch it as a national security issue, the National Assembly, our power to legislate, may not cover ranching as such.
Right.
Because agriculture may not be in the exclusive.
So would it be more of an executive order?
And that's why the president, as leader of the country, has to engage the state governors.
Right.
Who, by our laws, have the land, by the Land Use Act. And they will know how to provide the land. And then the CBN, in my view, and the Ministry of Finance can be made to provide money. If it is 3 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, whatever the cost comes to, and make it available so that you have these ranches built all over. And with time, the private sector will buy in. And sometimes even local government councils can build in a place like Benue that is very good for grazing. That can be a veritable business. If you build 4, 5, 6 ranches, how can cattle be competing with us, even in FCT, for space? There are times we move around. I'm not talking of Benue now. I'm talking, Charles, of the Federal Capital Territory here in Abuja. So we can't be competing for space with cattle.
Yeah.
And however valuable they are, there can be no moral equivalency between killing a cow and then somebody now coming to revenge to wipe out a community.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's no equivalency.
But
that is genocide and should be dealt with and called by its name.
I mean, these killings happening in Nigeria, like Seriake Dickson said, is genocide. It's purely genocidal. And if we have to go by what the chief of defense staff said, like Seriake Dickson pointed out, we're talking about Christopher, right? These foreign elements will not just come to Nigeria. And our government already knows that somebody is sponsoring these supposed foreign armies, foreign trained armies. Who is sponsoring them? We cannot say that we don't have that intelligence. Nigerians' intelligence is one of the strongest in Africa. We cannot say that we don't have that intelligence report to show who the sponsors of these terrorists, these bandits, these foreign trained commandos or armies with these specialist weapons coming to decimate our country and our villages and our communities, killing people and burning them alive. Do you understand? One thing I want to touch on as well, first of all, is this emphasis of the killings in Benue State and the time it took Bola Tinubu to get there. Just like Seriake Dickson said, yes, he's gone, but he went there too late. Several days after they've been killed, and he goes there and he calls it more like a communal clash. The lack of will from our politicians to nip this thing before it becomes a national tragedy, because it's slowly sweeping through states, one state at a time, and it is spreading, and soon it will become like wildfire. These people are overtaking cities, they're overtaking towns and communities, and they're killing people. What is the moral equivalency of, okay, somebody does animal rustling, they steal your cow or they kill your cow, and you go and then you slaughter people? What is the moral equivalency? Just like Seriake Dickson said, there's no moral equivalency. The value of cattle is now more than that of human lives. So it is genocide happening in Nigeria. Genocide literally happening in Nigeria, and we have to call it by its name. There's something genocidal going on in Nigeria. Some people are sponsoring these actors to come into our country, and our government does not have the will to solve it. Who are these foreign fighters? Where are they coming from? Who is sponsoring these foreign fighters killing people within Nigeria? Now let's come talk about this cattle ranching or something like that. Let's talk about it. It's something that has to be a national debate now. Every state needs to have a law. A federal law needs to be in place. A state law needs to be in place that you cannot just move your cattle from one spot to another spot, blocking roads. And people cannot do anything about that. It feels like herders have more rights than Nigerians in their own country. And this is by design, that the people who were meant to govern, who are meant to put laws in place to protect citizens, have not done it. That's why I'm asking, who are the sponsors of these foreign fighters? These supposed herders, people coming in the name of animal herders and coming into cities, into towns, into states, and then killing people to take over their lands. I saw the video of the picture of that little girl, child whose part of the arm has been slit and maimed and removed, and the mother turning away. I couldn't post that picture because I thought it is sickening to the core. So Bola Tinubu needs to let the nation know who are the sponsors of these violence in Nigeria. In 2015, PDP accused APC of importing these foreign fighters into our country. And PDP and APC have not been able to debunk it. And today, if you remember, during Buhari's time, for as many people as were killed, Buhari didn't make a statement. He didn't solve the problem for 8 years, and it festered. We as a country, Nigeria as a country, is a country that permits this lawlessness, where human lives have no value. One person's life is too much, not to talk about 300 or 200. So I asked this question in my previous video: which community will be next? Which community will decide to chase away these herders out of their towns, out of their community, and they won't come back in the very night to come and kill them? Until government begins to take proper action and not be complicit, in the words of Dele Faratimi. Stop being complicit in the killings, in the genocide of Nigerians. Until the government decides to take concrete steps to complete and to make sure this is sorted out, more Nigerians will die. So the question that still begs for answer to Bola Tinubu: what is the value of a Nigerian life to you? Can we implement this ranching system across the 36 states and the capital territory. Can we isolate this? Can we stop and ban this open grazing in our country? It has to be stopped. Open grazing must stop. If you want to transport animals from one spot to another spot, then make sure you do that in the right way. Not moving them from farms to farms and then destroying people's crops. And when they fight back, you kill them. And the people are so handicapped because they can't fight. If they fight back, the government will prosecute them rather than the people who come, the herders who are coming to their farms to destroy their crops. So are we saying that the lives of herders and their herds and their cattle, they are more important than Nigerians and their farms? The same Nigerians have right to protect their farms because they fought and they dealt and they spent hours in the sun and in the rain tilling the ground, and somebody just comes with cattle and just graze up all the works they've done. Is it that we don't have leaders? But maybe Seriake Dickson is right. The government have no solution. The government has no solution to solve this problem. So which leaves Nigerians to their own self. Protect yourself. I wonder what you think about this. I wonder what you think about what Seriake Dickson said. Put your thought in the comment section. Let's have this chat in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also recommend this channel to others. I will catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now.